We're at California State University of Sacramento. It's bigger than a project, it's a movement today. It's about self-love, and it's also about showing other people love. So young people need to know that they matter and that they're still good.
You have an awesome opportunity to learn, to grow, to become better today.
We just wanted to engage. We just wanted to make sure that these young men knew that we cared enough about them to not only be here, but to invest in their life.
I'm gonna teach you how to tie a necktie, and we're gonna compete for some prizes.
Give your perfect effort. When I say perfect, you say effort. Perfect? Yeah! Perfect! Yeah!
101 Leadership Summit and College Day, and it was phenomenal. It was amazing. I put words together, phenomenal, amazing.
His example is what we need to see. He's not just talking about it, but he's being about it.
G'day guys, and welcome to the 6th annual Real Manhood 101 Youth Leadership Summit. Now try saying that 10 times fast, right? Guys, this online experience is brought to you by OIN and the man himself, Dwight Taylor Sr. Now, my name is Tom Gilliland and I'm coming at you from Brizzy in Down Under, Australia. And I'm pumped to be your host today. Listen, this summit is all about empowering males to become real men. The R.E.A.L in Real Manhood stands for reject passivity, expect the greater reward, accept responsibility, and lead courageously. Listen, today is all about you guys, okay? We've put together something that is gonna be incredible. It's gonna be both entertaining and educational. We've got some really great presenters who actually care a lot about your future and your potential. And I'm really excited to be able to introduce them to you in a moment. Now, there are gonna be some pretty sweet giveaways, guys, so make sure that you hang around for the entire experience. Well, I reckon that's about it from me, at least for now. Let's hand over to the founder of Real Manhood 101, the man, the myth, the legend, Dwight Taylor Sr. Please give it up for him as he comes at you with some inspirational words.
Every morning you wake up, do a self-assessment of the person that you were the day before. Then go out and compete with yesterday's you. Don't just do more than you did yesterday, be more than you were yesterday. In everything you do, make sure you give your perfect effort. My brother, Andre S.O.G. Ward says, effort is between you and you. Listen, only you know how much effort you are putting into what you're doing. And if you're being the very best you that you were created to be. It's easy to appear as though you're giving your perfect effort. But if you know that you're only giving 70, 80, or even 90%, then I challenge you to evaluate the motivation behind your actions. You may feel giving your perfect effort is risky because there's no guarantee of the outcome that you want. But you are only robbing yourself by not giving your all. And you cannot know your full potential until you know your full effort. Don't let a moment, second, minute, day, or week, or even month and year go by without giving your perfect effort. Your future you will thank you for it. Dominate your day.
Show me 5 of your friends and I'll show you your future.
Of Nike, Jordan, Adidas, Apple, Pepsi. Guess what? You have a brand.
So today's video is going to be about how to get past that job interview hurdle.
Not so you can spend it and give it away. No, instead, so we can build wealth.
When it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, when it comes to health and wellness, that is more so about your mind than it is the body, okay?
Coming together to talk about what we were going through in a healthy way so the young men knew that they didn't have to pretend that everything was perfect.
Called Passion Over Paychecks. And what I want to talk to you guys about is how chasing something that you love or that you're passionate about can equate to the paycheck that you're looking for.
What do I have to do and who am I doing it for?
You can't do anything alone, you know what I'm saying? You can only do videos by yourself for so long, and then it comes to a time where you have to rely on people and need help.
Now, our first presenter is coming all the way from Mississippi, the CEO and founder of Thrive LLC. Chuck some 100 emojis in the comments for Desean Thompson, guys.
What's up, guys?
I am Desean Thompson, founder and CEO of Thrive LLC. And let me just say, I am super excited to be here with you guys at the Real Manhood 101 Conference 2021 to share with you guys something that has been a tremendous helpful tool in my life. And I'll also share you a little bit of my story so you can see that what I'm getting ready to share with you actually works. Now, before we begin, I want you guys to stick with me throughout this entire presentation. Why? Because there is a treat at the end. I will share with you how you can win a $100 Visa gift card from me to you to use in any way you choose. $100 Visa gift card just for you. But you gotta stick with me throughout this entire presentation. So if you're excited, I want you to type yes in big, bold, capital letters in the comments below before we get started. You ready? Here we go. So imagine being a 40-something-year-old married man with 3 children, and you walk into a meeting with your supervisor only to come out of that meeting knowing that you no longer have a job. Yeah, that's right. I lost my job a little over a year ago, and I remember just the feelings of disappointment and the feelings of shame and the feelings of embarrassment, because what was I going to say to my family? How was I going to provide for my family? How was I going to, just do the things we were used to doing? And it was that moment that I made a promise to myself that I would no longer allow anyone to have that much control over my life. But I knew in order for that to happen, some things about me had to change. I remember standing in my bathroom mirror one night, and I asked myself one simple question like, dude, who are you? And the answers I got back were not so comforting. When I realized the things about myself I did not like, I was kind of disappointed in myself, but I also began to feel excited because now I knew the things about me I had to change in order to get where I wanted to be. In comes my journey to personal growth. And it all started with that one question. And that's what I want to share with you guys, the 4 steps or the 4 stages of personal growth. And here they are. It's the discovery stage, it's the development stage, it's the mastery stage, and then it's what's called self-actualization. And I'm going to break down each one of these stages just to give you young kings an idea of where you can begin right now to transform your life to be who you were created to be, because I know and everybody around you know that you guys are capable and able and destined to be great men that will impact this world. But before we begin, I need to know, are you ready? If you are, I need you to type in the comments below in big bold letters, I am ready. So I'll know and the entire world will know that you are ready and excited to begin your journey of transformation and becoming that leader, that king that you are destined to be. So, first one is discovery. And it all begins with that one question, who am I? And once you've figured out who you are, then I want you to create a vision of the person that you want to become. And then take that information and start creating a plan of how you're going to become that person that you now envision. Step 2 is the development stage. This is where you figure out and understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and also determine the skills and things that you need to become that person that you now envision yourself to be. And then I want you to write out your plan. I want you to set your goals, and I want you to be intentional about going to work, making these things happen. Which leads us to the 3rd stage, which is the mastery stage. Now, during this stage, this is where we develop the self-discipline, we develop the self-control, we begin to understand how we respond and react to certain things, and also learning how to deal with certain situations we find ourselves in. And once we get past that stage, we move on to what's called self-actualization. That's when we realize our full potential. We realize that we have room to grow and that we are capable of growing. And so guys, I want you to understand this. This can be 4 stages or 4 steps that you can apply to every single aspect of your life. Be it a better student, be it a better athlete, man, you can put these 4 things to the test, and I promise you, matter of fact, I guarantee you that if you work them, and if you work them intentionally and with everything you got, you will see results. And I promise you, you will be satisfied and want to continue to grow. Now, I told you about my journey. I told you about losing my job, and I put these 4 things to the test. And guys, it led me not only to start 1 business, but 2. I launched my speaking business over a year ago, not long after losing my job and going through this process of growth. And it also led me to start my very own coffee brand. You see it right here, Kustawi Coffee. And if you're wondering what Kustawi means, it means thrive in Swahili. So guys, I want you to understand this. You have massive potential inside of you, regardless of what anybody has said to you, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of your environment. You too can achieve success if you put these things into practice and be intentional about growing. Now, I told you I was going to share with you how you can win a $100 Visa gift card. This is what you have to do. I want you to email me at thrive1720@gmail.com. I want you to send me your vision of the person you want to become and the things you are ready to do to get there. Meaning, what skills do you need to develop? You know, what attitudes do you need to change, and what habits do you need to break in order for you to get to be that person you want to be? Now, with Thrive, I have a saying, and it goes like this. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Why? Because there's no growth in comfort. If you want to grow, you're going to have to do some things and go some places and just totally transform who you are in order to be the person you want to be. So again, thank you guys for allowing me to be here with you. Real Manhood 101 2021. You guys have a great one. I pray blessings and peace upon you. Peace.
There are people that I look up to, and there are people who look up to me, so I have to make the right decisions to show those under me that you should follow good instead of do bad. So like I try to be the best I can be, make good decisions, so those under me can make good decisions.
Guys, our next presenter is the Executive Director of the Building Men program in New York. Please chuck some thumbs up emojis in the comments for Joe Haran.
Let's go. I'm Joe Haran from the Building Men program in Syracuse, New York. I'm so excited here to talk to you about the Big Three. Every great basketball team has a Big Three. In the comments, let's see some basketball teams. Who are your favorite basketball teams? I hope I see some Celtics there. So the Big Three, right? Let's talk about the Lakers. They have LeBron, Anthony Davis, Andrew Drummond. Or we can go old school. We talk about Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. Or the Chicago Bulls Big Three of Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen. Don't forget the Celtics, right? Garnett, Allen, and Pierce. Now the newcomers on the block, right? You know, we got Durant, Kyrie, and Harding of the Brooklyn Nets trying to get it done this year. Well, all right, let me get back to business here. So the Big Three. I had the Big Three in my life, right? I felt the presence of the Big Three in my life when I was in high school. I didn't even realize it. You know, I was younger, I took things for granted. In the comments, put down what you take for granted. I took for granted my teachers, my coaches, my mentors, my youth groups, my teams, took that stuff for granted. Thought they're always gonna be there. I thought I'd always have that in my life. And I went to college. Went away to college and they were gone. I lost the Big Three. I started believing the lies of society. I started believing that I'd be the man. I had to be tough and strong. I thought I had to show no emotion. Tried to fit in with a popular group. I thought I had to have Jordans and Yeezys and Gucci's. I thought I had to be around women and have a car and money. I thought I had to do these things to fit in. I tried to be somebody I wasn't. This led me down to the road of destruction. dropped out of college, was unemployable. I was isolated. I was alone. Life wasn't worth living anymore. And at the lowest point in my life, I reached up and I found the big three again. So let me put the big three in a context you can understand. When I was in middle school and high school, there was nothing more fun than playing ball. I love balling. I love playing basketball. If you're a baller, put baller in the comments. I'd go across the street every day to the park and shoot baskets, man. I love playing basketball. Played ball all the time all the time I could, right? And then I was gonna be the next great Boston Celtic. You guessed it, right? 5'10", no handle. I didn't make it to the league. I actually got cut in 11th grade. I was devastated, man. I thought, oh, this is the worst. So then I went over to track. Sorry, no Michael Jordan comeback story here. And my track coach, Coach Smith, was my example of a big three coach. He taught me what the big three was. And so I went there to run track. I was gonna be a pole vaulter and a high jumper. And he said to me, look, there's these three guys that run 800 meters. They need a fourth guy to make a relay team. I'm like, all right, I'll try. He says, good, Joe, I need you to do it. I need you to be part. We need to have a 4x800 meter relay team. I'm like, wow, I had a purpose. Coach gave me a purpose. He gave me a reason to be on the team. I was part of the relay team. Those three guys depended upon me. So I started getting my schoolwork done, turning in my assignments, right? My grades went up. I started saying no to negative peer pressure. I started working out harder. I started running. I had a purpose. There was a goal bigger than myself. Number one, the big three, purpose. Number two, he showed me I was worthy of love. I was not the athletic guy. I wasn't the smartest guy. I wasn't the biggest guy. I wasn't the fastest guy, but he loved me. He put me on his team. There was nothing I could do. There was anything I could prove. There's nothing special about me. He loved me unconditionally. He put me in this band of brothers, some of which I'm in still contact with today. Number two, worthy of love. And number three, greatness within. Coach saw greatness in me that I didn't believe and I didn't see. Here's a true story. We're riding the bus to the Eddie Games. It's the biggest meet in New York State. Big relay meet. Teams from New York, Buffalo, Albany, Rochester all go to compete in this meet. And he says to me, Joe, I want you to run the trials of the 4x400 meter relay and Derek will run the finals. And I was like, whoa, 4x400, I've never ran a 400 before. These other three guys run below 50. They run 47, 48, and 49 for 400 meters. I'm like, Coach, man, I don't want to let you down. I felt like I didn't want to let the team down, man. But he said, Joe, you can do it. I know you can do it. I just need you to run a really good trials. So I started warming up with these guys. Oh my gosh, I was exhausted. I was exhausted by the end of warm-ups. But I did what they told me to do, right? I got the baton, I ran it, handed the baton off to the anchor man, and we did really well. Best time of the year. Coach told me, Joe, you're gonna run the finals. And I ran the finals and I ran with them all the way to the New York State meet. What's the point? The point is, Coach saw greatness within. He saw something in me that I didn't see and I didn't believe. He saw greatness. He was my first example of a big three coach. So in the comments, I want you to put down who are examples of your big three coaches. Could it be a teacher, a mentor, a youth pastor, a mom, a dad, aunt, uncle? It could be a best friend. Who are examples in your life that could be a big three coach? Just write that down in the comment section. Okay, because this is it, right? Let's get some work done here. You are special. You were born with a special purpose. For you and your family and your community. Nobody else is like you. Nobody else is gifted and talented like you. You were born with a special purpose. Number two, right? You're worthy of love. You're priceless. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. There will never be anyone like you. You are so priceless, so worthy of all the loves and blessings this world has to offer. You have the superpower of greatness. You are born to do great things, and you have it inside you. You just got to bring it out. Game changer, right? This is your turn. Number one, I need you to work on your inner circle, right? I need you to find those big three coaches in your life. I need you to build that relationship with them. I need you to connect with them consistently. I need you to talk to them. I need you to work with them. Get them in your life. Get your inner circle of big three coaches. Number two, I need you to keep looking for your purpose. What lights you up? What inspires you? What drives you? What motivates you to get going? What is that purpose that you are born and gifted with? Don't let fear get in the way. Stay in the game. Don't worry about failure. All the great ones fail. Find your purpose. And number three, what I need you to do is I need you to do every big and little task with greatness. Work, grind, everything that you do with greatness, right? Pay attention to detail. There is nothing too small. There is nothing too big for you to do. Do it with greatness. But remember, you have a special purpose, you're worthy of love, and you have greatness within. Thanks, I'm glad to be here with you guys. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Graphic designers, what if you could transform your designs into engaging, interactive content for your customers? Now you can with InterApp. InterApp enables graphic designers to easily turn your stationary graphics into dynamic, interactive experiences for yourself or as a service when using the InterApp Content Creator. It's simple with no technical skills necessary. Use our web-based Content Creator to connect rich media content, video, photos, animation, 3D, and hyperlinks onto the visual graphic. The consumer is then able to launch the InterApp application using the phone's camera to recognize the graphic, then augment the dynamic content for your user to engage with. Let's show you how.
Hey guys, I'm going to show you how easy it is to start creating interactive content. You click on the creator, the wizard pops up, you have a 6-step process. First thing you're going to do is click on landscape. You can click on option 1 because I want to do an animated GIF along with some social hyperlinks on that graphic. I'm going to name the campaign, my shirt. I'm going to choose the actual target or the graphic or the apparel graphic that's going to be interactive. I'm going to upload that to the wizard. I'm going to click next. I'm going to input my animated GIF, which is a link that's hosted on Jiffy. Copy that link, paste it into the creator, hit next. I'm going to input my social links. I'm going to click this button. I'm going to input my Facebook page. I'm going to input my Instagram page. And I'm also going to input my website. Click next. Wait for the preview to pop up. Now the shirt is interactive. Anybody can interact with it right now in the InterApp domain.
Guys, I hope you're enjoying the summit so far. Plenty more to come. In fact, we've got another speaker right now. He's a hip hop artist and entrepreneur straight out of Cali. His name is Conscious. Chuck some rockets in the comments for him.
From the city that birthed the Panther movement, revolutionary in me words of Huey Newton. Ironic, the same section birthed the hyphy movement. I was backseat with the bass knocking, going stupid. So I understand the power of some influence, the game and the culture, how it impacts today's music. My foundation was created by my mama's blueprint. My older brothers G and L navigated me through it. I adapted, was impacted by violent actions, sideshows and bullet holes, the fatal attractions, police encounters, handcuffs, plus more distractions. I see good people lose their way from all of the damage on their psyche. Only so much a person can handle when people got murderous intentions. Sanity can vanish like vandals. The scandal's insurmountable. Who's accountable? I've witnessed way too many black lives shatter, y'all. My name is Conscious. I'm an inspirational hip-hop artist, educator, and entrepreneur. So I want you to take a little bit of time as we get ready to get into this topic, talking about using your voice as a tool for positive change. I want you to think about that verse that you just heard. How did it make you feel? What type of connection did you make with some of the things that I was saying? Were you able to relate with the experiences? If you could just share in a couple of words, a word or a phrase that stuck out to you and how it made you feel. Because I choose to use my gift that God gave me to inspire, to bridge perspective, to tell a story. I grew up in Oakland, California, and I seen a lot of violence. I seen a lot of crime. I seen a lot of my partners get killed. People I went to school with get killed. People that went to jail, some went to prison. So a lot of those experiences and witnessing that informs my music, of course, but it also influences my decisions. It taught me many lessons. I didn't want to take those same paths. I started off on a negative path myself. Starting in elementary when I started getting bullied, it led me to start becoming a bully. I was a really good student. I got A's and B's when I was young. But after I started getting bullied, education was out the door. I started trying to fit in, giving in to peer pressure, started trying to talk to girls. By the time I got to middle school, I kept on that same path. That continued into high school, kept messing up, led me to having below a 2.0 consistently. Many times I was this close to not being able to play football because my grades were so low. The only time I would keep a 2.0 or higher was when I had to maintain the grades for football. And then the rest of the year, I was out the door. And all of those negative decisions led me to where I was finishing up school. I was finishing up high school. And guess what? When it was time to start applying for colleges, what you think happened? I couldn't get into the colleges I wanted to go to. I was looking at my peers, people applying to all these different schools. They getting ready to go off. And where was I at? What happened to me? Guess what happened? Those decisions I made when I was young, they was knocking on the door. They was like, hey, Conscious. Hey, Wayne, that's my name. Hey, Wayne, you remember you made that decision? You gotta pay for that. So all those decisions that I made when I was young, I had to pay for it. And it stagnated my growth. But by the grace of God, I was able to get back on the right track and start doing positive. Even though I had to reset, I was able to get back on track. Came to a point where my mom was expecting me to work, rightfully so. As a man, you have a responsibility to work and be a provider. Those were the lessons that I didn't get or didn't understand and step into. I grew up in a home with a single mother who worked hard to raise me and my brothers. But when you don't have that male reinforcement, that male example, having that father figure in the home, it makes a really big difference. So some of you might not have fathers. Some of you may not have uncles and people in your community that are there to be those father figures and examples. So you might be able to relate with this story. But nevertheless, I ended up getting a job, moved to Sacramento, got enrolled in junior college at a local community college in Sacramento, and I got on track. I started getting focused. I started to really get my mind right and set some goals. I started becoming conscious, listening to positive, encouraging, conscious music, learning about Black history, learning about my roots, my ancestors, and it just really inspired me to make a change and to use my voice for a positive change. So I want to ask you now, what are you using your voice for? What are you choosing to represent? What do you stand for? I want you to think about that for just a moment. Take some time and think about that. What are you using your voice for? Are you being a positive influence? Are you encouraging people and inspiring people, being a motivation? Because that's what it's about. And if you haven't took time to think about that before, I want you to start incorporating that into your thought process. How can I be somebody that's encouraging? How can I be an inspiration? How can I make my little brothers and sisters, nephews, nieces, my friends, my homies, how can I make the people around me want to do better and go harder so that we can be successful? And success is not just about the money, that's a part of it, but success is so much more than that. Being successful emotionally, being successful physically, working out, getting strong, eating healthy. It's so many types of success. Being successful with your education. So starting to think about those types of things. But I also want to really emphasize the point of using your voice for positive change And you may say, what are some ways that I can use my voice for positive change? I'll give you some examples. As you heard through the song I shared, you can use music. You can also teach. That's something else that I do. You can also tutor and mentor. You can go and volunteer in local programs. You can work at a local community center depending on your age. You can choose to make one-on-one connections to let your voice be heard, or maybe connect with smaller groups, or you can get in front of larger audiences if you want to be a speaker and you find opportunities to get out and speak in more of a public setting. But whether you're impacting one person or a large group, it's all important work to be done. And as a man, that is what you are expected to do, to step up and take responsibility and to give back and to pay it forward. What are 3 ways that you are going to start today to use your voice for change? But whatever it is, I want you to really keep that in your mind. Remember that you are a positive example. You have people that are looking at you even when you don't know it. And sometimes you're going to have decisions that you got to live with. That's part of life. But as long as you keep taking those steps to make it right, that's what you have control over. So stay blessed, y'all. Stay conscious and keep taking those steps to be that positive change and let your voice be heard for something positive, because as you see in the world, we need it. We counting on you. We need you. And I know you're going to do it. You got everything in you to do it. You've been preparing for this your whole life. So get acclimated, stay focused, write those goals down, and make it happen, y'all. Stay blessed and stay conscious. Peace.
A lot of young men around my age don't have father figures for them to teach them, how to tie a tie or anything. They don't have a father to teach them how to really be a man. And for me to be a leader and help someone else, it not only makes me feel better, but it helps them feel better about themselves. And, because from me helping them, they can pass it on and help someone else. I really believe this event like this is important because of the young community nowadays don't have enough kids trying to do good stuff. They always out sacrificing the good things that they could have in life and following the wrong trails instead of following the right path.
Guys, we got another Cali native coming at yous. He is the founder and CEO of Kevin Lamar Consulting Group. And you're never gonna guess who it is, right? It's Kevin Lamar, guys.
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. Professionally, I go by the name Kevin Lamar, but you can call me Kev, Big Homie, or Dude on the Screen. Whatever you call me, just make sure you're locked in for the next few minutes. I'll give you a little bit more about myself before I get started. I am the founding partner and COO of BCI Incorporated. I am also the founder and CEO of Kevin Lamar Consulting Group, where I run a leadership consulting firm, and I am also an executive coach. I lead a team full of amazing staff that help me get a lot of the things done that I get done. I couldn't do it without them. And I'm sure part of your next questioning is, what does all that even really mean? So I also like to break it down and say that I basically do 3 things. I make investments, and these investments make me money or make money for my clients and make everyone else able to do the things that we want to do with our money. 2, when an organization needs help with their improving their overall leadership structure, leadership dynamic, they call me. When the CEO of these organizations, the CEO, CFO, CMO, CPO, COO, when any of them may need help as well, they call me also. So in short, I'm somebody that people call in order to help them reach their potential. And I love every single aspect of it. I also want to let you all know that I'll be giving away a few prizes and raffling off a few gifts at the end of this. So please make sure that you are paying attention, as there will be some key messages within today's presentation that'll explain how you can be eligible for this raffle. I have the pleasure today of discussing with you a skill set that is extremely important, but also is not that difficult to master, and that is customer service. Customer service is the energy that exists when one entity providing a service or a product wants to provide it to another entity who desires to have this service or this product. That is customer service. It is the energy that exists within there. And in addition to that, customer service is a space that all of us exist in, no matter what. We all exist within this space. Either we are a customer or we are providing the product or the service. But no matter what, we are existing within this customer service space. So my goal today is to teach you on how to either expect great service as a consumer or how to deliver great service as that product provider, so that either way you'll always be covered. All right, so rule number 1, know your customer or know your provider if you are the consumer. So if anyone who has eaten at Chick-fil-A, we all have heard in common 2 words, my pleasure. Everyone's heard that word, those words, my pleasure, when you get your food. Well, if you're a fan of Chick-fil-A, go ahead and give me a cow emoji down in the comments right now. If you're a fan of Chick-fil-A and you've heard those words, my pleasure, go ahead and put a cow emoji down there for their fearless mascot, the cows. Now, also, when you think about this, this can only be true because Chick-fil-A knows their customers, and they market this elevated belief of true service to them by ensuring their customers use the words, my pleasure. So in comparison, if you ask 10 different people about their experience at McDonald's, for example, you'll likely get 10 different stories. And this doesn't mean that the service is bad at McDonald's. It just means that that's not what they focus on as a reason for you to dine with them. So you're not going to have a consistent service level. All right, rule number 2, the customer is always right, or you have the wrong customer. So when you hear the customer is always right, it does not mean that someone can walk into Foot Locker, for example, and buy a pair of Jordans for $26 just because they want to and they're the customer. No, that's not what that means. It means after you've mastered rule number 1 of knowing your customer, then, of course, after you know them, the customer is always right because you are catering your business to that customer, right? As an example, normally, if you get bad service at a restaurant, it would not be surprising to complain to someone about the service that you got at the restaurant. Well, there's a restaurant that is called Last Resort. In that Last Resort, they purposefully give you bad service as they're serving you your food. You pay for them to do that. They put rubber bands in your food, call you names, they'll do whatever they can to try to get under your skin, and you pay for that. And if you try to complain about getting bad service at Last Resort, well, they'll laugh at you and kick you out as you try to complain. So that's their customer. So ultimately, the people that like good service, they just don't go there. Rule number 3, when in doubt, find common ground. Find common ground. As a consumer, there may be times where you just need an item. And as a business, you may just want to make a sale. So if there's common ground and a basic understanding, then both parties are going to be happy. Right? So think about this, for example. The common ground that most people have when they shop at Target is the understanding that you'll get decent pricing and friendly service. That friendly service may look a little bit different depending on who you are as that consumer, but even if you don't fit the mold for that customer that Target is expecting, you still shop there because you have that common ground. You know you'll get the decent pricing and friendly service. So, understanding these 3 basic rules of customer service will help you in a variety of ways. They truly will. As a consumer, you are better equipped now to expect the type of service that you deserve and how to ensure you're getting that service. And as a service provider, you'll be able to evaluate where you rank within the 3 rules that we talked about today. So I thank you and I appreciate all of you for your time. Please email me at kevinlamar@gmail.com. That's Kevin Lamar, no vowels, 2 R's at gmail.com with an example of a time where you either received amazing customer service, absolutely amazing, or terrible customer service. The 3 best stories or the 3 best examples will be chosen to win a $50 gift card. Entries are due by May 31st. Please make sure you get them in by May 31st. I look forward to reading them all and connecting all with you all. Please have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Josh Paul. I'm with the Chick-fil-A Arden Fair, and we get approached all the time for different charity events or different things, but man, when I teamed up with Dwight, to be able to see hands-on him making an impact with these kids, to be able to see these kids come and learn job trades, be able to learn how to tie a tie, how to do a job interview, basic banking, and it's just real impact. Because oftentimes we give to something, we don't know, what's it going to and what's it go for, is it going to benefit to be able to come to this event and see these kids smiling and taking pictures and taking notes and really learning what they could do to improve themselves and feeling inspired. It's just incredible to come to see Dwight and see what he does and support it and be able to really just see where everything's going.
Guys, there must be something in the water in California because we have another speaker from out that way. Please chuck some fire emojis in the comments section for speaker and youth mentor Levi Ferguson.
Yo, 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 it's Levi, the passion guy. Shout out to my young kings. What up, king? Let me tell you a story. See, I don't know if you could tell by this hat or the twang in my talk, but originally, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. When I was born, there were 3 possibilities as to who my father was. All 3 of them struggled with drug addiction. 2 of them went to prison. 1 of them is dead, and I never really knew any of them. And at the same time, when I was born, my mother struggled with her own crack cocaine addiction. And though she was around for the first 3 months or so of my life, she eventually abandoned me in pursuit of her addiction on the streets. And at the age of 11, I followed in my father's footsteps, whoever he is, and in my mother's footsteps. At the age of 11, I began to pursue a lifestyle of drugs, gangs, and violence. But then, at 17, I discovered my purpose when I heard a message that radically shifted the direction of my life. I heard a message about a God who loved me so much that he became a man, who we call Jesus. And he died to pay for the crimes that I had committed, and 3 days later, he rose up from the dead. And I know some of you may not believe that message like I do. That's okay. But that message led to me discovering my purpose, because the very next year I stepped on stage in front of my entire student body in college. And I shared my story like I'm doing now. And in that moment, I discovered that my purpose was connected to using the power of words to change lives. And that message that day pushed me to become a speaker, so that today I use the life-giving power of words to help students realize their potential, discover their purpose, and change the world. The young king, I want you to do me a favor. If you want to know something about purpose, then drop purpose in the chat. And I know at your age, it can seem incredibly difficult to feel like you've discovered your purpose. But I want you to know today that even though you may not feel like you've discovered your purpose, that every single day you can choose to live with purpose. See, you're a young king, and I want you to know that every king has weapons or powers of purpose. If you believe you have power, drop power in the chat. Let's talk about 2 powers that every king has today. Number 1, you have the power of your story. See, everyone has a story, and every story matters. Your story can save lives. Right now, there are people out there who desperately need your story, and by living your story and sharing your story, you can help them, and you can change the world. Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book, he said this. He said, "Words are the most powerful drug used by mankind." And I love to add to that the only thing more powerful than words are the stories we create with them. Your story matters, and your story can save lives. Number 2, every king has the power to help somebody else every day. So you have no idea how big of an impact your seemingly insignificant small acts of kindness can have on another person. A word of encouragement can sometimes save someone's life. Opening a door for somebody can sometimes shift the mood of that person for their entire day. Your power to help other people is huge. If you believe your powers can change the world, write change in the chat. Speaking of kings, one of the greatest kings who ever lived, one of the greatest kings who ever walked the face of this planet was named Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. And the most fascinating thing about his dream is that it wasn't even about him. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that one day little black boys and girls would join hands with little white boys and girls. And they would play together. One day his dream became a reality because Martin Luther King Jr. was a man who lived with purpose and on purpose every day. Every day, he chose to use his powers for good to serve those around him. And with every march and every protest and every speech, one day at a time, one person at a time, his choice to live on purpose changed the world. I want you to know today that everyone is born with a purpose, but very few live on purpose. You can choose every day to live with purpose. And I love what Josh Shipp said about Martin Luther King Jr. He said, Martin Luther King Jr. was a great man, not because he had a dream, but because he woke up and did something about it. And I know, young king, that you have a dream of purpose inside of you. If you have a dream, drop dream in the chat. See, I believe that your dream is connected to your purpose, and I have a dream that today you will open your eyes, that you will wake up to the reality that every day you can choose to live with purpose by using your powers to serve other people around you, to make this world a better place. I believe you can change the world. And every day when you choose to live with purpose, you are pursuing your purpose. And the greatest injustice we do to ourselves is never pursuing our purpose. And so, young king, today and every day from this day forward, I challenge you to choose to live on purpose. And when you choose to use your powers with purpose, you'll be a man on purpose.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown. I'm holding a book here that I encourage you to get. It's called Dominate Your Day by Dwight Taylor Sr. I just heard him speak and he was phenomenal. He's a young man that speaks to young people and adults as well. This book is for your children and it's also for you. He's talking about making good decisions that brings the greatness out of you. Dwight Taylor Sr., this young man is worth the time of your purchasing his book and bringing him in as a speaker. I highly recommend him.
If there's anybody in here at this very moment that says, you know what? Today is going to be the day that I begin to be the very best me that I was created to be every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year until I die, I just need you to raise your right hand in this place all over the building. Take a look around. There are people in here who have greatness on the inside of them that doesn't need to just stay inside, but it needs to be let out. And so with that being said, we're gonna try this chant one more time because I want you to understand that your best is yet to come. Be my best. Be my best. Forget the rest. Forget the rest. Perfect effort. Perfect effort. Nothing less. Nothing less. Be my best. Be my best. Forget the rest. Forget the rest. Perfect effort. Perfect effort. Nothing less. Nothing less. My name is Dwight Taylor Sr., your encouragement expert. And due to the fact that we've been born to dominate, today is the very best day for you to dominate your day. Thank you so much.
Now guys, if you think it's been good so far, it's only gonna get better. Do not go away because right now we have a surprise performance from Brandon P and Mission.
If it's your birthday somewhere out there, this song is dedicated to you.
It's a bop.
Whatever you're going.
Hey. Yeah. I see ya.
We need y'all hands up.
Hey,
let's go.
Hey, it's a bop. Hey.
So hey,
hey, it's a bop. Yeah, let's go. Hey, go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. All you say now, it's your birthday. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Hey, let's go. Yeah, I've been on a roll. If you are not with it, you can't try this here at home. Hey, I'ma keep it real while I got you on this song. Been on to act the same when I'm far away from home. Yeah, Sony, hey, I can't take you serious. You acting for the polar boy. Really ain't no limit. I'm lieutenant to you, soldier boy. Yeah, I be danged if they put me on the shelf. On the shelf, I'm a man. I can get it by myself. Working real hard, never blew up. Yeah, used to be a boy, but I grew up. Hey, killing every track, it was gruesome. My dad came and said me like Suya. And I'm only moved by your actions. You take all my weight like Atkins. I am way far from average, man. I go hard, I go savage. Hey, been through some things that you can't even. Still singing prison like I'm J-Mark. Hey, this a pop. Hey, hey, this a pop. Hey, and go shawty, it's your birthday. Go party like it's your birthday. Oh, you say that? It's your birthday. Put your hands up like it's your birthday.
Let's go. King of the city, rolling through the streets. I'm right up sunrise, banging in the east. It's a bop, I'm a beast with the beast. So they ask me what's the move, I said whatever's meant to be. 23, 46, double up the numbers. See me dripping with finesse, dipped in the water. Little baby, hit my line, trying to bring me in her, but I'm good, love. I ain't got time for the problems. Hey, we hit the road in the summer. When we touch the end, I might pull up in the Hummer. No connect, but you can really hit the burner. All that talk, all that chatter, you can really keep it under. Hey, it's a pop, chunk, jumping like a trampoline. Jumping, taking else, I'm bouncing back, and that's by any means. Oh God, tell the no lies, it's a pop. You a op, better know it's ready on the beat. Hey, this a pop. Hey, go shawty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. Oh, you say now, it's your birthday. Put your hands up, it's your birthday. Hey, it's a pop. Hey, this a pop. Open it up, open it up. Hey, hey, it's a go shawty, it's your birthday. Go party like it's your birthday. Oh, you say now, it's your birthday. Put your hands up like it's your birthday. Hey, it's a pop. 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's a pop. Hey. Hey, it's a pop. We're done. Drop the mic.
We out of here.
Hey guys, well, I hope that you're enjoying the summit so far, and I just want to encourage you. I know it's a bit entertaining and educational or whatever, but I do want to encourage you just to be intentional about making sure you make the most of this opportunity, whether it's just taking notes, considering how can you specifically apply the things that you're hearing to yourself, and actually making maybe like an action plan of how are you going to live this out so that tomorrow you can be a better you than you were yesterday. All right, let's get back into it. Our next speaker is known for being really innovative. So I need to see some footballs, basketballs, I don't know, tennis balls, bowling balls, emojis in the comment section for CEO and founder of ADEQ, Desean Gaines.
My name is Desean Gaines. I am the CEO and founder of a mobile sports app called Addict Sports. Addict is a mobile sports app that allows users to find information, opportunities, and resources within their local communities, but specific to sports. So we kind of like to call ourselves the Yelp of sports. And if you're familiar with Yelp, right, you can log into Yelp, you can find a restaurant, you can find a shopping mall, you can find whatever you basically want to find, except for sporting events a lot of times within your local area. So we essentially took that same concept and created a platform that was specific to sports so we can create more awareness and more opportunities for individuals within their local communities specific to sports. So understanding I'm kind of in that intersection of sports meets technology, I am on my phone a lot, probably similar to you all. I know a lot of young individuals are on their phones, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on Instagram, whether they're on TikTok, whether they're on YouTube, they're doing something on their phone. So if you are on there, let's leverage it, right? Let's figure out the best way to make the most use out of our time when we're on there. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna make it very casual, very simple, but we'll walk through Instagram. That's where I get a lot of my information from. And I'll just show you guys how I utilize it and some things that have worked for me. So I love sneakers. I am a sneaker person. I guess you guys would probably call me a sneakerhead. I've always collected Jordans and just different types of kicks because I love shoes. So here we're gonna search the Nike sneakers app, right? So what I like to do when I go onto a social media application is I like to go strictly to who they are following. A lot of times you look at, how many followers an account has, but the true value is really into who they are following if you're looking for information. The reason being, a lot of times organizations and companies are following like-minded individuals, so individuals who have similar beliefs, similar mindsets as them. They're following competitors, so again, still within the same industry. And they're also following people who they essentially want to do business with, which would align to a like-minded individual. So there's a lot of value in looking at the following side versus primarily focused on how many followers someone has. So in this example, they have they're following one person, one organization, one company. When I click that, they are following Nike. One of the other cool things that I like to look at when I'm clicking at who they are following button is that it gives you a tab that says suggested. That suggested tab is going to tell you everyone that is, again, kind of similar to them. So when I hit suggested, I find a lot of different accounts. One in particular is StockX sneakers. So you can buy resale sneakers on there and you can buy shoes on there that maybe you missed out when they were released. Another thing I like to do on social media when I'm doing research is all the way to the right, there's this icon right here, all the way at the end. When you click that icon, it's going to tell you everyone who has tagged that account. Traditionally, individuals who tag accounts, again, are like-minded people. So in this example, they probably love sneakers. There was probably a release that they got and they wanted to notify and tag sneakers app because they got them. But again, these are individuals who fall within the category of a sneakerhead or someone that you may want to connect yourself with because they're similar mindset, right? They enjoy sneakers. They may want to get into business. They may sell sneakers. They may buy sneakers, right? So there's a lot of different things that may come of value by searching that. So here, you'll see a lot of just people who I think today try to get the Travis Scott 6s, but a lot of different accounts that have just tagged sneakers, Nike sneakers. And these are people who have a passion probably for shoes and collecting them. Not only am I looking at the following count and looking at individuals who have tagged their accounts, I am also kind of going into a deep dive of their content and their posts. So we'll use this as an example, right? We go to a page, you see their sneakers. I'm always looking at who leaves comments and the types of comments, right? Not the trolls, not the trolling comments, but I'm looking at the ones who are really interested in their product. And the reason I'm doing that, again, is because I want to find like-minded people. So I challenge you, whether you're looking for some shoes, whether you're looking for a restaurant area, whatever you're looking for, however you utilize social media, I challenge you to not go down the rabbit hole in the way that we traditionally do, but I challenge you to go down the effective rabbit hole, right? The one that allows you to control where you're going and what you want to see, and that brings you value. One of the things I did not talk about that I think is very important as well would be hashtags. So a lot of times I may hashtag, let's say Nike sneakers, and it'll give me 26,000 posts. So what I do here, I check them out and I do a little bit of research. I jot it down and I take that information back with me in the event that I want to circle back with them. Leverage social media. Use social media to your benefit. Get on there. You're going to spend your time on there looking for stuff. You may as well gain some information, some knowledge, and some tools that you can apply into your day-to-day life that will allow you to kind of get further ahead and further along in life. So I hope this information that I've shared with you today has been valuable. I hope that you take this information back and apply it into your day-to-day activities. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I would love to talk to you about how I utilize social media to leverage our organization, what our goals are as a company. And if you just want to know how you can stay connected to sports or entrepreneurship, I am more than 100% open to having a dialogue with you or a conversation with you about how I jumped into entrepreneurship and how I leverage social media. So you guys are in a very, very powerful space and in a very, very powerful time. You have tools, resources, and information literally at your fingertips to be able to do whatever you want with it. And so I challenge you to use these tools and these resources to the betterment of you. Use them to allow you to become educated, informed of what's going on, because it's there for you. So again, my name is Jason Gaines. I am the CEO and founder of Addict Sports, which stands for Adversity Drives Equality. I would love for you guys to follow our social media page. That is Addict, ADEQ, and then sports. And then also, as I suggested as well, send me an email, jason.gaines, Gaines, @addictsports.com. Let's connect. So again, I appreciate your time. I hope this was valuable information for you. And I wish you nothing but success, opportunity, and blessings as you continue throughout life. Thank you.
So I feel like Real Manhood 101 is very important. I know for me, for sure, it's my second year coming. I like it here. I like the atmosphere and everything. It kind of reteaches me some skills I fell off from, but also helps me, like understand other people's perspectives, other people's point of views, other people's ideals. And in the end, for me, it's more of a learning experience, like about the people, but at the same time, also the topics are also very great, especially for some people like here, like some people might not have, the type of guidance that I might have had or some other people might have had, and them coming here and like hearing it from adults, people will actually impact their lives. I feel like it's actually great for them. So I'll say Real Manhood 101 is a success no matter what, because it teaches people either way. Either if there's 10 people or 1,000, it still teaches someone, and it'll still help somebody out in the end. So actually, I like this program, and I'd rate it like a 10 out of 10 if I could rate it. It's actually really nice. I like it. I also passed out like my resume to two like really influential people, I guess I could say. They're really like big, not big, but they're like really in the tech industry. So I handed out my resume and I'm hoping to, get an internship with them or something.
I'm from Hiram Johnson High School, and these events are definitely needed for our young men in the school to show the effort that they can take, even though they're not from the same mold as everyone else. They can still prosper and take their own initiative to hand out their resume to companies who are here. That one of my students did such a thing, is now getting an internship for the summer with one of the representatives that are here. To see the strength of the young men who are helping our young men become men is immensely needed.
I passed on my resume to them, and I told them about me trying to get an internship.
Are you serious?
Summer. Yeah, and
That's
they gave
big.
it to me.
Hey, so this is why you always stay ready, right? So you don't have to get ready. You never know who you're gonna run into, and you never know what options or opportunities or platforms will come your way. So what if you didn't come?
I would never got these chances.
Show up. That's all you gotta do. Show up in life.
All right, thank you. Oh man, I'm excited.
Next up on our virtual stage, he's a father, writer, and podcast host. He loves to rebel and create. Let's see some book emojis in the comments for Ned Shaut.
What is up, young kings? Ned Shaut here. I'm so stoked to be with you today and share something that has been so transformational for my life, and that is journaling. I've loved it so much that I actually created a journal for fathers, specific for fathers, and it has been a great tool for me. If you have journaled or spent any time journaling, please throw that in the chat right now. I would love to hear from you if you've made journaling part of your life. Now, let me start with a story. I'm 37 now. I am a husband, a father of 5, an author, podcast host, and just a man on a journey growing to be the best version of myself. So the fact that you are here doing the same, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna share a story. So when I was 18, I started journaling, and I have 19 years of journals, but I started because my father shared a story with me. When he turned 18, he bought a motorcycle, lived in Wisconsin, and he drove that motorcycle all the way down through the United States to Mexico. And he wrote down all of his adventures, and he shared those with my brother and I. So when I turned 18, I started journaling. When I went off to college, started my businesses, met the love of my life, started having kids. So now at the age of 37, I can go back and look at those adventures, and I can see the man that I was, and I can see the man that I've continued to grow into. So journaling has been a time machine for me. And I'll tell you, I had a significant moment where I really had an identity crisis in my life in 2015. And I was able to go through and read those and see my path, to read all these letters that I wrote myself. Because you see, when I journal, I'll journal about how I'm feeling, my emotions, where I'm headed, how something from the day before impacted me, how I liked my response, how I didn't like my response. So I was able to see myself grow through that. Now let me ask you, throw it in the chat. When you've journaled, if you have, what have you written about? Maybe just throw a word in that chat like my emotions, my feelings, my day, my adventures, a girl I liked, a conversation I had. What is it that you've journaled about? And there's so many things. It's really endless. But a journal can serve as a timeline for yourself, to go back and look at the man that you have become and to share. And if you look at a lot of the great leaders of our world, they all journaled. Now, here's the most powerful thing to me about the journal, is as men, a lot of times we're told, don't cry, don't show your emotions, don't feel sad, don't be lovey. And so sometimes you might feel that you're not able to show emotion, but a journal allows you to get those emotions out. Beautiful, fun emotions that maybe you're not ready to express to somebody, or frustration, or working through a situation where, sometimes if I'm in a fight with somebody, I'm frustrated with somebody, I will go write that down, and it allows me to get it out of my heart, my soul, my mind. And sometimes when I see it, I go, oh wow, this isn't as big of a deal as I thought. Have you ever been hurt by somebody where they just exploded on you? I'll throw that in the chat. I think we've all been hurt by people where somebody was abrupt and somebody was kind of out of order in the way they treated us. Here's what I think happens in a lot of those situations. There's a lot of angry people out there, is they allow their heart just to get so filled with so much emotion that at a certain point, pops. And I'll tell you, when I first got married, I didn't know how to deal with those emotions, and journaling helped me. There were moments where I would speak to my wife in a way that I wasn't proud of. There was times where I actually was so built up that I punched a wall. And how inappropriate as a leader that when I was in my early 20s, that was my response. My emotions were so big that they had to get out of me. So journaling served me that I could go in and write my emotions down. This is how I feel. This is why I'm frustrated. Have you ever used journaling for that? I'd love to see that in the chat. And if you haven't, I encourage you that if there's stuff inside you, to get that out. Now, when I think about journaling, there's really 3 areas that I think about. Writing down my past, writing down my story. Where have I been? What has my life been like? What have I liked? What have I not liked? And allow yourself to think through that. Present, who am I today? Where am I headed? Who do I want to be? Then future, where am I headed? What does 1 year look like? 5 years, 10 years? Go write your dreams down. That to me is the most fun part, because then your journal can serve as a compass for you. It's one thing to say, one day I want to be an author. But to say, I want to write a book by 2021, and I start to do the things to get there, I could use my journal to serve me, to go down and write, how am I doing? Where am I headed? Is it working? As you're thinking about journaling, What resonates? Throw that in the chat. Writing about your future, is that exciting to you? Writing about your present, who am I? Where am I headed? What do I feel like? What emotions am I experiencing? Or writing down your past, right? Just let me see what you think. Future, present, past. Think of journaling as a compass, as a guide. You are the captain of your ship, and let me tell you the other beautiful thing about journaling. Most of the answers that you seek are inside of you. You have what it takes. And if no one's told you that, I want you to hear it right now. You are choosing to participate in this. You are choosing to grow yourself, and life is growth. There's no destination. The destination is knowing that you're on a path, you're on a journey, and that you are gonna grow. Now, I have mentors, I have coaches, I have people that I invite to speak into my life. But what I'm looking for isn't what to do, but I wanna hear their experiences so that then I can take them in myself and decide where is Ned headed. So I encourage you, young kings. 1, I applaud you for being here. 2, thank you for letting me share a gift with you today of journaling and how impactful it's been for my life. And I encourage you to go get a journal, go get some paper, go write it down. If you're more of a phone guy or laptop guy, find a tool that works where you can start to express yourself and start to journal. I don't do it every day, but when I do go in and do it, it serves as a great opportunity for me to grow as a human, to write to myself, to express what's going on inside of me. Shoot me an email. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to be a part of your journey as you grow into the man that you were designed to be.
Rap. Okay, the more energy y'all give me, let's create a vibe. The more energy y'all give me, the better. So.
All the way from North Carolina to your screens, we have the Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services in Harnett County Schools. Why don't you put some check mark emojis in the comments for Jermaine White.
Have you ever been in a situation where you waited to the last minute, like to study for a test? I'm gonna raise my hand because I'm that guy. In high school, sometimes I used to wait until the last minute to study for a test. The night before, I'd be sitting there trying to read everything, thinking I got it. I get to school the next day to take the test, and I say this little prayer. I say, Lord, if you just get me through this, I promise I will not wait until the last minute. Has everybody ever done that before? Anybody ever done that? I'm just telling you, that was me. And I just think about how foolish that was, because had I just taken a few minutes every day to just lay the foundation for me to study and do better, I wouldn't have had to rush and wait until the night before to be able to get what I could have gotten the whole time. So young kings, what I need you to understand is that we do not have time to procrastinate. Anything that you do consistently will bring about great results. So what we've got to do is we've got to get clear, we've got to get focused, and we got to get moving. Today, I pledge to be the best me that I can be, to demonstrate integrity in all that I do, treat others with respect, remembering always that I must respect myself first. Today, I pledge that I and I alone am responsible for making good choices. Today, I pledge to demonstrate those behaviors that are consistent in following my own dreams and aspirations. Today, I pledge to be grateful for this opportunity to be led by those that I admire. I truly admire the good brother Dwight Taylor for granting me this opportunity to present at this year's Real Manhood 101 conference. Before I go any further, I need your permission to teach. If we were together, you would grant me permission by saying check, C-H-E-C-K, right back to me. But since we're virtual, I need you to type the word check in the comments box below so that we can move forward. Also, if there's anything during my presentation that you agree with, feel free to type the word check in the comments box at any time. Today, I'm here to speak with you about purpose over procrastination. Say it with me, purpose over procrastination. I need you all to understand that the cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Waiting until tomorrow, putting things off until later, robs each and every one of you young kings of an opportunity to fulfill your purpose. In my lifetime, I have never met anybody who is extremely successful and also a procrastinator. I've been blessed to do a lot of things, and I can tell each of you that it has not been easy. And even though there were days that I wanted to give up, I refused to quit. Check. Nipsey Hussle said, I'm about seeing long-term, seeing a vision, understanding nothing really worthwhile happens overnight, and just sticking to your script long enough to make something real happen. That means you live every day with a purpose by going the extra mile, and you don't stop until you get there. Because look, you gotta stop feeding yourself negative things. I can't handle pressure. I'm not as popular as the guy that's the captain of the football team or the captain of the basketball team. I'm not a good test taker. You gotta stop saying those things to yourself. You're programming yourself for failure by the things you are saying over and over and over again. And that's just hurting you on the inside. And by it hurting you on the inside, that's going to come out at some point. So today, we got to keep saying to ourselves that we're going to stay encouraged. And that you got to remember that the goal is to be successful. Check. So we got to be successful by staying encouraged. And even if you fail, even if you fall short, you got to stay encouraged. Let me put a pin right here. Failure is just an opportunity for you to start again and be even more successful than you would have been had you not taken the chance. You're not ever going to be successful or have a large amount of success if you're not willing to take the risk and step out there and do what you have to do. You got this. Keep fighting and don't give up. While the last year has been filled with things that we could not control, a pandemic that we did not expect, our hearts should be grateful because we are here, still standing, ready and able to make a difference in this world. Check. At this time in our history, we need dreamers and innovators like you to step up and be heard. Dr. Martin Luther King said that the time is always right to do what's right. Again, the time is always right to do what's right. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter the mistakes you may have made. It doesn't mean what you haven't done to this point. You must have the confidence to believe that anything is possible. Your purpose is waiting for you, so let's be men and go get it. Now you might ask, Mr. White, how do I know if this dream on the inside of me, this purpose that you talk about is really good enough? I'm glad that you asked. I read somewhere once that it's easy to know if the dream inside of you is a good dream because it will bring joy to you, it will help others and not just you, it will continue to stick with you. Again, the dream on the inside of you is a good one because it will bring joy to you, it will help others and not just you, it will continue to stick with you. Young kings, you can help make a difference in the world today, not tomorrow, but today. So right now, I need each of you to be epic, engaging, powerful, inspiring, and connecting with everyone you meet from this day forward. Look, my time is up. I could sit here and talk to you all day, but at the same time, I really do appreciate each and every one of you for looking at this video. But before I go, I do have some gift cards that I want to give away to a few young kings. So the first 5 of you that type in the chat box below, purpose over procrastination, again, type purpose over procrastination and leave a way for me to get in contact with you. I'll make sure that you get your gift card. I'm not gonna tell you where it's gonna be to, but I can show you and prove to you that the gift card that you're gonna receive is definitely gonna be epic, okay? May the next few months, the rest of this year, the rest of your life be periods of magnificent transformation for you and your family. Again, I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you, and we'll speak with you soon. 2:15.
Vicky Cakes, ao com o diário.
É o coração del desayuno. Vicky Cakes, au cœur de petit déj.
Vicky Cakes, the heart of breakfast.
Hi, I'm Christian Sargent, owner of Vicky Cakes Pancake and Waffle Mix based in Dallas, Texas. Vicky Cakes is based off of my mother Vicky's 40-year pancake mix recipe. It's amazing, dairy-free, vegan-friendly, free of artificial flavors, preservatives, colors, or any additives. And guess what? We're bringing families back to the table all across America with what we love to call the heart of breakfast.
All right, finally, we have someone I've actually met before in person. He is a friend of our cameraman. He's from just up the road here in Brisbane, Australia. He's the founder of Stone Creative Leadership Group. Why don't you put some Aussie flags, koalas, kangaroos, I don't know if they have Vegemite emojis, but if they do, chuck them in the comments for our keynote speaker, Andrew Stone.
Hey Real Manhood, it's Andrew Stone here, coming all the way from Brisbane, Australia, to speak into your leadership journey right now. I want to speak into your leadership journey in legacy and how to tell your story well. How will people remember you? If you're watching this right now, just hit some likes when you know that you were called to something great. And it is so great to be able to speak for my great friend, Dwight Taylor Sr., and this whole space of young men in leadership. My dad has a really interesting story. At 8 years old, he had the ability to make the decision to change our whole family story. See, my grandfather was in the British Army during World War II. But when he came back, he had severe alcohol issues. And so he would come home from different places and different jobs, and he was a high-end structural engineer, and he would come home from his jobs, or sometimes he'd disappear for a week, and he would come back completely intoxicated. My grandmother had 4 children. My dad is the second of that 4. And he would come home, and one night, my dad, being 8 years old, Ian Stone, heard this rustling in the living room and things moving around, and eventually an argument, and then things breaking. And that woke him up from his sleep, and he walked out to see his dad standing over his mum with a mess everywhere, the smell of alcohol in the room. And whilst my grandfather never physically hit my grandmother, he was very close to, and the disarray in the house would have shown that. And in that moment, my dad stood in between his father and his mother with his fist up in the air as a little 8-year-old, with tears streaming down his face, saying, "You will not touch her." He tells this story that this was the defining moment for his whole life, where he made a decision that I will never be like my dad. See, each one of us has a story. I'm standing here today because my dad made a decision as an 8-year-old. Now he has grandchildren. And the stories they will tell about their grandfather is very different to the story I tell about mine. So I had this great friend who's this amazing musician. And she was leading this big team at this big event. And I was speaking at this event, and I was watching her as she was doing her musical direction, and she was using an iPad, and every time she changed song, she would like squint a little bit at this iPad, And so I was intrigued, and so I went up behind her and looked at where she was playing her piano and whatnot, and I saw this iPad. It was fully just cracked. The screen was cracked. You couldn't really see everything clearly. And I kind of looked at her and I went, how did this happen? Now, we all know, if you're listening, we all know the person that is within our friendship group or our family that always happens to break one of their screens. You know, we just know there's always someone like that. Well, this crack was really bad. So I asked her, I said, Jocelyn, how did this happen? And so what she tells me in the story is one of her friends was using this iPad and was playing a game called Fruit Ninja. Now, I don't know if you remembered or have ever played the game Fruit Ninja, but Fruit Ninja was one of the first games ever brought out on any touchscreen devices. And what would happen was that fruit would fly up in the air and you've got to use your finger across the screen to slice it as fast and as many as possible. So this friend of hers got really into the game and put this iPad on the kitchen bench top and started getting real competitive with it. And she started slicing these fruit over and over and over and over and over again. Like, if you're competitive, just put some likes in the comment box right now and on the screen. Because if she was getting super competitive with it, and she's sliding, and her finger caught the screen, right? And as she swiped this one time really hard, the iPad flew across the room, hit the corner of the wall, and just cracked the screen. And so I turned to Jocelyn and I go, well, doesn't it annoy you that you've got to look through these cracks on the screen? Now, I don't know about you, but I get really funny about my phone and my screens, that even if they've got a smudge on it, I've got to like wipe it on my clothes just so that it's clean. So I can only imagine what it would have felt like to have all these cracks on the screen. And so she tells me this, Jocelyn's response to me is this: at first it annoyed me, but then I just had to get used to it. I had to get used to looking through the cracks. And suddenly I realized the leadership lesson in this is that she had to lower her standard of vision in order to compensate and justify the brokenness that was presented to her. And suddenly I realized in our journeys in our life as young men that sometimes in life we get handed a broken iPad. Sometimes we get handed, it's not even our fault sometimes it's circumstantial, that we get handed in our story, in our legacy, in our life, like my dad was. You get handed this broken iPad and we have a choice. What kind of leader will we be if we don't do a legacy reset? Now, I'm a leadership strategist as my role in my career in our company. This is what we do for a living, but I want to tell you right now that we can come up with the best strategies, we can come up with the best coaching, we can come out with all of that great stuff. But if we don't fix the brokenness in the iPad, all we do is multiply it, and we lower our vision every time the broken iPad gets handed over from generation to generation. And so I want to tell you, don't live with a broken iPad. Don't justify or lower your standard of vision and your story because you've been given this broken iPad. Let's do a legacy reset. If my dad can do one as an 8-year-old and he did it and it changed my life, it changed my kid's life, what could you do? Maybe you're listening and you're going, you know what? I have been given a broken iPad in my generational story. It's been handed down to me. Well, why don't we make a change right now? Be the leader that hits the legacy reset and says, you know what? I'm going to be a good dad, or I'm going to be a good leader, or I'm going to be a good provider. I'm not going to treat people this way because that's what I was taught. We sometimes get narratives in our mind of, well, that's just how it is. That's just how I am. But what if you could lead on another level so that when your grandchildren and great-grandchildren talk about you, the story they tell is compelling and honoring and leadership-driven? Sometimes in life we do get handed a broken iPad, and it's our responsibility to hit a legacy reset. That's the ultimate leadership move. You want to be a bold, wow leader, strong leader, be strong enough to hit a legacy reset. But what if you're like me and someone did the legacy reset for you and you're the beneficiary of it? Maybe you've got a great generational story because someone else did that for you. Well, you know what our job is? You know what our role is? Is to then tell the story well and honor it and not re-break the iPad. And if you're listening right now, put it in the comments, you're ready for a legacy reset, type legacy reset. If that's you, you just say, I'm gonna be a legacy reset leader, hit legacy reset, type it in the comments right now. If you've been given a broken iPad, it's your responsibility to hit the legacy reset button. If you're the beneficiary of someone else doing it for you, then it's your responsibility, much like mine, to tell the story well. So can I encourage you? Legacy and your story is the ultimate form of leadership. All the other great things can happen later, but let's get your story honored for the generations to come. Don't ever lower the standard of your vision to justify or compensate for the brokenness that may be given to you, but reset it so that your great-grandchildren can tell your story well. Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute privilege to come all the way from Brisbane, Australia, to speak into your life, to speak into your world, because here's what I know. Your greatness will be told for generations to come, because that's real manhood.
I just want you to share what's on your heart with these young men, because what you shared with me has gotten me to the point where I'm at right now. So it's open to you.
Dwight was saying something when I was in the back about appreciate. Think about that for a minute. Appreciate the people in your life. And like you said, so many times we go through life without even thanking the people that has been put in our lives. And I like to just say to y'all today, appreciate what you have. Appreciate what you have. I always like to use two words when I be talking to young people. And you make choices. And these two words are impact or impression. I'm going to ask you, which one would you choose? Impact or impression? You see so many athletes want to do things to impress the public. But my advice to you today would be, as you go through life, starting right now, make an impact. Make an impact. So as you go through life, you can leave a legacy that I made a difference. I helped somebody as I went along the way. It's a great life. Life is short, and I would advise you all to start right now. There's no age limit, especially since we're in the 21st century. It's no age limit. You can start right now, impacting the person that you are around. There's no age limit.
Well, I hope that you've had as good a time, if not better, why not, than I have during this summit. I want to thank all of our speakers and presenters for contributing their time and wisdom to this summit. But a big special thanks to Dwight Taylor Sr. for arranging all of this and our investment now for making it happen. Another big shout out to Young Kings and everyone involved, and for you being a part of this. I personally am looking forward to being able to have this summit here in Australia, hopefully sometime soon. But from now until then, it's goodbye from me.